everybody, this is Leslie and you're watching Midlife and Nailing It. If you could please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, I'd really appreciate it. Today I have for you a What's for Dinner video. I post one of these every Monday. This Monday, guys, I kind of am switching it up a little bit. I actually, this will be after the fact, but I'm going out of town with my husband for a little bit, and I'm also needing a few days off of everything. So I'm kind of shutting it down, headed to the salt spa, kind of got some books I want to read, and then my hubby and I have some plans. So for this What's for Dinner, I just have one meal for you. It's actually what I make every year for St. Patrick's Day, and I call it the St. Patrick's Day Feast. I thought I would get it up so you guys would have time to get the ingredients and make it yourself if you'd like. I hope you enjoy. So I'm actually getting ready to get my corned beef into my crock pot, and as you know, if you've been watching me, I start with a liner anytime I cook anything in my crock pot. It makes dinner cleanup easy, and I'm all about easy. So this is the corned beef that I picked out to put into my crock pot. I did not spend $22.88 on this. Corned beef can be expensive, but around this time of year, guys, they have all kinds of sales, and the closer it gets to St. Patrick's Day and through spring, you'll even see them buy one, get one free. A lot of times I jump on that deal, but I don't make more than like 2 corned beefs a year, or I just make the one for St. Patrick's Day. A lot of times people are super intimidated by making corned beef because they think it's a tough piece of meat, but it actually isn't. You just have to know how to make it. So this is what corned beef looks like out of the package, and it actually always comes with the seasonings that you need to make it. I usually take the seasoning packet and rinse it off really well in cold water. And then I actually decided to cut this in half. It was such a big piece of corned beef that I needed to cut it in half to fit in my crock pot. So what you want to make sure that you do is make sure that the fat side is on the upside. And I'm sprinkling all of the seasoning that came with the corned beef. That's important too. Then I want to go ahead and get this into my crock pot. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but when I was working on the corned beef, I had it and its package kind of inside this bag while I was working on it. And that's because corned beef is a super huge mess. So this is what I do when I'm handling the corned beef. And then I can just tie the bag right up and put it right into the garbage. Once I've got my corned beef into the crock pot. And then what you want to do is add a cup of water. Don't pour it on top where your seasoning is. Kind of put it on the side so the seasoning stays intact. So the thing is with corned beef, you want to make sure that you cook it at a low temperature and you want to cook it for a super long time. That's why a lot of people smoke corned beef. I've got it in the crock pot, and this method works super good as well. So you want to cook it on low in your crock pot, not high. I do not think it turns out as well. It's going to be somewhat tough if you don't cook it on low. And you want to cook it for 13 to 15 hours. Okay, so this is what the corned beef looked like once it had cooked 13 hours. The next step is to cut up some cabbage and get it in there. So what I do is cut up my cabbage in kind of chunks like this. And then I start placing the wedges of cabbage down into my crock pot. And I layer it on top as well. I then put the lid back onto my crock pot and cook this for another 2 hours. Okay, so it wouldn't be a St. Patrick's Day feast without some potatoes. I'm using this ranch seasoning. It's the Kroger brand, and some olive oil here. I diced up about 5 potatoes, mixed everything together, and then I layered it on a cookie sheet. These go into a 425-degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. Okay guys, so we make our corned beef into sandwiches, and we always use this Jewish rye and pumpernickel deli swirl. It is delicious, and we toast it to put our sandwiches on. We also use some Swiss cheese, and I put out some Thousand Island dressing and some mustard, so whatever people wanted to put on their sandwich. Sometimes we grab sauerkraut as well, but my husband and I find that we like the cabbage on our sandwiches a little bit better, so we haven't been getting the sauerkraut the last few years. Okay, so I pulled the meat out of the crock pot and the cabbage as well. The fat just comes right off of the meat, and then it kind of shreds like that on its own with a couple of forks. This is what the potatoes look like when they were finished. They're super good. Oh, it was so good. Okay, guys, so this is what that meal looks like plated up. I have my 2 pieces of toast. The Swiss cheese and cabbage is on one side, and the corned beef and Thousand Island dressing is on the other side. This is what the sandwich looks like closed up. You'll notice I had to take a little bit of the edge off of my bread so it would fit in my toaster. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.